Hello, everybody. I'm back. What? I woke up this morning. I did my prayers, invited God in. I had a good breakfast, and now I'm ready to talk to you. I thought about telling you a little bit about me, how I am a blessing. I was born and raised in Chicago. I have three boys, 21 grandchildren, five siblings. There are two girls and three boys. There were 10 of us. Five of us are left. I was raised on the west side of Chicago. I left Chicago and went to Colby, Indiana. There, I went through high school and I graduated. I had my first boy at 17, and I got engaged in drugs and alcohol after I graduated. That took me through a roller coaster. I didn't get sober till I was 32. I lived a rough life. 5 of those years, I lived in a cardboard box, downtown Chicago. I had hit a bottom. I had get beat, and I was in a coma. I remember asking God in that coma. I asked him if he just get me out of this one, I'll turn my life around. I woke up after being in a coma for 14 years. I got on a CTA bus. I had pulled all the IVs out of my hand and got on the bus and went back to the house that I was using. I tried to use some more drugs, and I just couldn't feel it. I remember the question I asked God. The question was, will you help me if you get me out of this? And he was helping me, and I didn't even know it. I had poked myself over 1,000 times trying to get high. After leaving that hospital, I couldn't get high. I had a friend named Charlie, and I asked him, I said, Charlie, I know we can get some help. Let's go. He looked at me and he said, if you touch my stuff, I'll kill you. I didn't have no money, no nothing. I put on these dirty pants that was in the corner. I reached in the pocket, there was some food stamps. I went across the street and kept buying penny candy until I got $6.90. I got on the South Shore train and went to Michigan City, Indiana, knocked on my mom's door and asked for help. She looked at me because she hadn't seen me in 5 years, and she said, away from my door. I knocked on the door and asked my mother, could I use her phone? She threw the phone out the door, and I called this place called Kingwood Hospital, and I asked those people to help me. I told them if they didn't, I was going to die. I was suicidal. I was a mess. I had lived to use and used to live for years, and I was tired. The lady called me, and she said, we have a spot for you. You can come in. I got in. She looked at me and she said, you got 3 days to detox. and from there we're gonna work. I said, I don't want that. I want to go in that room with those people sitting in that circle that's got, and I want to do what they doing. She said, go ahead, baby. I went in there and I have not turned back since. I got sober from drugs, alcohol, pills, herb, methadone, everything. February the 2nd, 1989. I have not had a reason to pick up a drink or drug since. I got introduced into 3 12-step program, AA, NA, and CA, and I'm very involved. Today I have 29 years of sobriety. My goal today is to reach out and give hope to people that's been in a state of mind that I was. One of my reasons for getting in that state of mind is because I felt like I wasn't loved, I didn't have anything, and I was worthless. And alcohol and drugs became my friend, but little did I know that they turned on me. I'm sharing my story like I thought. I was abused mentally, physically, and sexually. That was another excuse. Picking up drugs and alcohol are only excuses. Some of us don't know that we become addicted. Some of us can drink and drug and leave it alone. I was one that couldn't. When I got into my 12-step program, I began to do and take suggestions. I had to find a sponsor. I had to invest in some literature. I had to go to meetings. That meetings made sense, and they still making sense. I had to find a power greater than myself, and I had to help others. And I still do that today. I am a blessing. I know that I'm powerless over people, places, things, situations, and events. I know I can't fix, manage, and control nothing. I have to cease fighting anything and anybody. I have to practice the principles, the tools of recovery that they laid at my feet in order to stay sane. I had to find a power that I know, and had to believe and trust and rely that it would keep me sane. I was always insane. I never had a sound mind to make no decisions, right decisions. Today I have a sound mind and I can make right decisions. The first decision that I do every morning is I get up and then I invite God into my life. I have to have an insurance policy. And it's been working. I haven't had to cash in. I've learned to turn my life and my will over to a God of my understanding. My God is my God. He's a loving and caring and understanding God. He allows me to look within. He allows me to take an inventory of myself. He allowed me to check what I'm doing and own up to my own stuff. When I get up in the morning, I talk to God. I tell myself what I told God. And then I find me another human being and I share my experience, strength, and hope. I still have some character defects. I still want to lie, cheat, manipulate. I have those thoughts of using. But these principles get me ready to get ready. It helps me to invite God in and ask for what I need. When that anger and that resentment come up, I have an opportunity to ask God to remove that. When I want to lie and cheat and manipulate, I have a sound mind to ask God to remove that because I can't do it by myself. I go to meetings and tell on myself, and I don't have a problem with that. I tell on myself because I need people like me to help me rethink my action. I have them to help me to get a gratitude attitude. Once I lose that spirituality, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I know what it's like to be out there in hell. I know what it's like to not to raise your own children and hug them and tell them you love them. Go to parenting classes and go to basketball camp. All of my kids missed out on that. I never went. I wasn't available. Drugs had me consumed. Alcohol had me consumed. When I woke up from the depths of hell, it was a God blessing from that moment on. There is a prayer that I use that I learned from the program of recovery. And it goes like this: My Creator, I am now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. Please relieve from me every single defect of character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding. Amen. I have to stay humble. I have to have a degree of humility because without a degree of humility, I would have stinking thinking and drink again or drug again or have some bad behaviors pop back up. My behaviors are what kept me down. And that's what I work on today, day at a time. Keeping my behavior arrested. I no longer, because of this program, have to live in guilt, shame, and remorse. I know who I am, I accept who I am, and I love me today. I've made a lot of amends. Direct amends and indirect amends. Some of the amends I made was to my sister, my mother, my father, and my son that just passed away. Daily amends. I continue to do that one day at a time. In the daytime, in the evening, in between. I take a look at what part Tanya's playing in somebody else's life. If I've made a mistake, I'm willing. I'm willing because I got the key. Can nobody do put my key in the door but me? When it's shut, I have the opportunity to open up with willingness. And I need to stay willing. I have a host of friends. I have a host of friends, loved ones, people that really actually love me, genuine, unconditional. They give me constructive criticism. They tell me about me. And they do that out of love. And I accept that. So I continue to take personal inventory. And when I'm wrong, I sought through prayer every day. I talk and I pause and I meditate. My higher power asks me a few things. He says to me, Tanya, if I let you talk to me, will you listen to me? and I sign a petition. Yes, I will. What I'm listening to is the soft voice that I never heard. I always heard the lower power talk to me. Oh, today I still hear him, but God outweighs him. I share my experience, strength, and hope, hoping that I can help another alcoholic or addict. He doesn't have to be, or she doesn't have to be an alcoholic or addict. Anybody struggling with anything. And if my story can help someone else, I'm willing to repeat it. I have no shame, no gain. The only gain I'm looking for is God's blessing to help his children. When I was under the influence, I was blind, crippled, and crazy. I couldn't see my way out. But I'm here to tell you there's a way out. I'm not saying do it my way, because what worked for me might not work for you. But I know one thing. It's a must that you find a God, because he can do all things. And he will send you to where you need to go. He will show you what you need to do. All you have to do is be willing. Be willing. A shout out to my grandchildren. Drugs and alcohol will turn on you. They snitches. They'll snitch on you. They don't give a care if you black, white. They don't discriminate. They don't care how tall. If you gay, if you ain't gay, they don't care. They will turn on you. Check yourself. Some of y'all are going down the wrong road. But I'll be here when you need me. You have never, ever, and I'm talking about my grandchildren, seen me drink a drug. I'm here to set an example. And if I can help you with that, and anything you need for me to talk to you about, I'm here. And an enemy is very important. What you see here and say here to me, it stays. But if it's something to tell me that might harm you, we have to talk about it in terms of getting extra outside help. Because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a psychiatrist. But I do know some things. And I do have connections. You know, the first thing we would do, we would pray and ask God to send us the right people. I love you, grandchildren. And I love my 3 boys. They don't know it. But it's okay. Because I don't live in shame and guilt anymore. What I couldn't do for them, I couldn't do. But what I can do today, I'm willing to do. I have to stay suited and booted. And that means spiritually fit. I'm dealing with a lot of health issues. And when adversity comes, a mind like mine, if it's not treated right, it would trigger me to pick up and cope. I know there's a God. I was sitting here at the table one day, and there's this step. And it says, come to believe in a power greater than ourselves. And I said, okay, God, if I believe and trust and rely on you, you said you are who you are. And if I ask you, you told me to ask and relax, and that you're going to take over. So I put my hand on my head where the aneurysm is. I have an aneurysm. It was a 6 centimeter. It is down to size P. I needed my teeth pulled, no insurance, and I got my teeth pulled because I put my hands, and I asked God to put his hands on my hands. I was supposed to have emergency heart stent put in, and the doctor told me, we'll see you in 6 months. I have an enlarged liver. We didn't know what was causing it. They thought I had, excuse me, hep C and cirrhosis of the liver. I have neither, but I do have scar tissues, which makes one side of my liver larger than the other. But there's medicine to treat it. No insurance. Fill out an application, and the pharmaceutical is going to pay for my medicine. The kidneys were shut down. They changed my medication for high blood pressure. My blood pressure was 200 all the time, out of control, in and out of hospital, threatening strokes and heart attacks. My blood pressure is 120 over 39. I'm a blessing. And all I did was ask God. But you got to believe that it's not going to work if you don't believe it, because your will would be in front of all of that. Just trust him. My way never works. My way never works. Wishing never works. Hoping never works. Believing does. I'm a witness. To all you women out there that's suffering from this disease of alcoholism and drug addiction, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's on life terms. And it's not easy. It's not. That's when you need each other. It's a we program. We need each other. All you got to do is tap in and stay tapped in. Trust and believe. Hope you got something out of that. I hope you got something out of that. Because I'll be back. I want to be able to touch somebody. Somebody. Go to my YouTube. Look under Tanya Muhammad. Tune in. Oh, by the way, one more time. If no one told you they love you, I love you. Stay tuned. See you later.